So I was going to play a tournament, and it was interesting because there was a thematic King's Indian tournament going on, and it says you need to have a minimum of 10 rapid games in order to play certain tournaments. Let's see. I'm at 9. So, know what that means. I'm in the Seek, looking for another one, hoping that they will answer our call. And I've got like a 300 point margin or so. Typically, when I'm climbing the rating ladder, I set it to where I won't play anybody below my rating, which, has its pros and cons. But so far, there's only been one rapid game where I was like, wow, level of play is woo! And that was with that 1700 that one time. The rest of the games have just been kind of okay. I definitely have a large amount of room to improve with my time management and rapid play overall, which is one of the main reasons I've been playing more rapid games. Okay, we finally got an acceptance, and it's a 1900, but better to get a 1900 than nobody, and we can play some tournaments after this. We get the system I wanted to play in the last game, and then it goes D, G6. I don't know if this is right, but I'm going to go D4. Seems annoying to the knight, and I didn't want to allow a color's reverse Tarrasch position, so I already think that white's got a little something to work with here. Knight E7, I could very well play D6. Ooh, I like the idea, but I don't, if that makes sense. Yeah, I feel like doing it, man. I can't talk myself out of it. And now I'm worried about Queen A5 ideas, so I'm going to go ahead and castle first. Bishop on E2, not on D3, because I want the queen watching D6. And this is bait. I want him to be like Queen B6. I'm worried about the pawn. All right, now that I'm castled, now I can start action against the pawn. And this bishop normally wants to come to F5 or G4, so that makes the situation awkward. And I like the idea of H3, because I want my bishop on F4 to eye the weakness. All right, fair enough. Knight B5 is definitely in the cards. And long term, I just have the better pawn structure here. When your opponent wants a King's Indian and gets this, doesn't feel right. And I see no reason to hurry and no reason not to trade queens here, as the queen trade will develop my rook on the A file, which is annoying. My F rook can go to D1. My knight can still go to B5. Definitely a pawn's worth with the D6 pawn sacrifice. Positional pawn sacrifice at that. Not too worried about G5, bishop H2. G4, HG4, knight G4, knight D5. I appreciate what you're trying to tell me. That you have some tactics involved. So we'll just cover it. There was some ideas with knight h5, queen takes, and bishop takes, where the bishop would be uncovered from the rook. So we're just going to take care of that. Uh-huh. It looks like a good time for knight b5. Isn't it? But first, if I go g4, that's really going to throw a wrench in any sort of knight h5 type move to hit my bishop. I think this is just winning now, because I've really crippled the ideas of both knights, and if this knight's best play is to get in the way of the rook, I don't want the d-pawn once he goes there. I want to play knight b5, looking for the fork, looking for taking on d6. You know, keeps the ball rolling on the attack, which is what we like to see. All right. I respect that. That's where the B needs to go. That does give you the idea of knight h4, in which case I'll take, and then bishop f3 is a solid consideration there. Knight h4, knight takes h4, g takes h4, bishop f3, rook takes e1, rook takes e1, rook b8 to get off the attack, then knight b5. Oh, no. Rook b8, bishop takes d6. So that line looks... Yeah, knight h4 looks devastating. Yeah, okay. He didn't give it to me. Fair enough. Looks like a move worth making. Lots of threats. I'm not too worried about the A pawn because it would make my pieces awkward if I captured. It's mostly that is the big threat that we're looking for. That's not going anywhere. Now I have compensation. Double checking. All right. And I want to take here to move the rook so I can take there. Bishop d1, like bishop d3. I guess bishop d3 immediately could work. d5, knight e5, or bishop e5. Okay, okay, I talked myself into it. Any discovery with the knight. Ah, that's what I was looking for. Okay, bishop d3, knight c5 will hit my bishop, and his bishop will be unleashed to attack there. So let's go with my first reaction. Looking at pins. And having the bishop there is different because on knight c5 you're not hitting anything. Okay. Knight f6, I'm strongly considering bishop takes d6. My initial plan, if that. Ooh, there's some ideas with knight c8. Bishop e5, bishop takes e5, knight takes e5, knight c8. I have knight takes c6 though. Critical moment. Bishop e5, knight c8 immediately. That's a problem. So knight e5. Knight e5. Knight c8, knight c6. Knight e5, bishop e5, bishop e5, knight c8. Just does not work, does it? That is a shame. I really like that idea. If I capture, if he takes with the bishop, I take. If he takes with a knight, I take. So that seems to be the most straightforward problem for him. Checks, captures, threats. Start with the most forcing things first. Trying to be all creative. Okay. Bishop e4, knight c6, bishop h7. I also have rook a4 in some lines. Okay, that works. Rook a4, b5. That's a piece. That's a full piece. That is too much, friend. And actually, Okay, I'll still have that. Bishop e5 will force things nicely. Rook a8 is definitely an option. Maybe I won't have that. Bishop e5 takes d5. I'm going to do this to try to simplify the win. Now that's to be considered. That is met by that. Oh, no rook lift. Do that anyway. $2,400 blitz rating and 2,300 bullet. So the guy's good at fast stuff. I think he got move ordered in the opening. D6 was interesting, and now the squeeze. Doesn't seem fun. Extra rook is far too good. All right, let's do some tidying up. Not a big fan of you having my stuff. And there's really no hurry. Come here first. Or there, 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 there. And you could have the best engine in the world playing this right now, and it would not matter, because a rook is worth that much in this type of position with no counterplay and no way for me to mess this up. So occasionally I feel like people are just beating themselves up when they're playing certain positions, and it's not good for you. Don't do that. Notice how the bishop's controlling that square, so there's no checks. All right, yeah, it was about that time. Okay. So let's see what the main line is after G6. It's D4. And D6 is normally the move. In which case, D5 according to the engine, and E4. If I wanted to play a classical King's Indian, wouldn't I just play classical King's Indian? I don't know so much about D5, not my first choice. I would more likely play D takes E5 because a King's Indian player wants to have fun. And is this position fun? I mean, according to the engine, this, and Karpov won with... Oh no, Karpov lost in 97 to a much lower rated player with black in this position, and Anand lost in this position. So 2 world champions lost here with black. Yeah, I'm going to go with my reaction. Okay, just checking. Take, D5, definitely trying to fight for it. And then... Interesting stuff. Yeah, crazy play here. But yeah, D5. Probably bishop G5, because it gets you to play bishop E7. Then I'm going to go bishop H6. I like that a lot better. And this is like a really good colors reverse Tarrasch. Okay. But when he took and gave me D5, and I'd never seen this position before. I did evaluate it properly with C takes D6, but everybody's been taking on D6 with the queen. So my move's a novelty. I didn't feel like taking the pawn would be necessary. It's going to be a target forever, and the queen may get kicked around. Black may have some counterplay immediately. So I would recommend my move again. Knight F5 is a bit much. You got to try to develop your pieces. Probably B6. And G4 immediately. I still stand by my move. I don't care if you say it's a mistake. Queen takes... Okay, now I'm curious. Queen takes B6. Rook FE1. I guess, wow, 2 sets of double pawns. How good is that bishop? That's something you don't see every day. That constellation. Wow. So D5, it's got to give away. Yeah, I still don't like trading queens and giving that. Let's get back to the main game. So I played rook e1 immediately, and he took, and I didn't miss the opportunity to play g4, or knight b5, or knight c7, or knight takes e8, or rook takes a7. I did miss b4. b4 with the idea of trying to win this pawn. And this worked out much better than the main game because black's pieces are all very, very awkward. So b4 was strong. It liked bishop f1 more than my bishop d1 idea, but it was concrete. I don't know why I was having such a problem figuring out I'm just winning a piece there. It didn't mind that. So yeah, as I'm completely winning, I had a lot of first choice moves towards the end here, which I feel good about. And overall, very high quality game. That's what I want to see. I didn't have too many inaccuracies overall, and I would argue with the computer over, say, queen b3, saying that's a mistake. So overall, 19 center pawn loss, not terrible. But can I do much better? I don't know. But we got our 10 games. Feel good about that. On to the next one.